All right, what is happening, you guys? This is Eric Cuts for the Win. Let's talk about this Gears 5 tech test. It started out really rough, as you could imagine, but it was more rough than I thought it would be. You know, when it comes to tech tests and betas and all this, it's kind of normal to go ahead and have these problems as far as servers and crashing and just trying to get into matches, but man, I didn't expect it to be this bad. Friday was really, really bad. Just trying to get into matches, people were in waiting screens forever. I didn't start trying until that afternoon, and just trying to party up with people was probably the worst about it. It was really hard to stay with your squad and not get kicked out or not have just one person kicked out. It was pretty much a hassle trying to party up and get into matches. And not only that, but if you wanted to play King of the Hill, that was not working for quite a while. It would push me and force me to play arcade, no matter how many times I tried King of the Hill. So yeah, there was just a lot of issues going on. Some minor things as well, you know, picking a character and then not having myself as that character. It's just things like that. Saturday was a bit better. King of the Hill was working. Again, we had issues with parties and trying to play together, but for the most part, it was improving a little bit and we were able to play. And of course, I put up a video. It's a live stream highlight of me playing King of the Hill with some friends. And it was actually fun when we were playing. It was working pretty well. It felt smooth. And just so you guys know, I played on the Xbox One X for Friday and Saturday. I actually borrowed it, experienced Gears of War on the X, and I must say there is a very big difference. Even when we hopped on Gears 4 during the time of, Gears 5 not working, Kofi and the guys, they wanted to play Gears 4, so I jumped in there. Man, the difference I felt was crazy. I felt like it was much more smoother. And I know you're probably thinking, well, duh. But just to feel it was like, wow, it was eye-opening. So going into Gears 5 with the tech test, it was the same feeling. It felt really smooth. When everything was working and we were actually in a match, it just felt really good. Now I'm on the OG again because I had to give the X back. And let me tell you guys, there's no going back. Do yourself a favor, and if you're on the OG Xbox, don't even think about playing Gears 5 on the OG. It's just not a fun experience. It's very night and day. If we were doing separate videos for my experience on Gears 5 with the X and then Gears 5 with the OG would be very negative. Let me just tell you that. It just feels much slower. I feel like my shots aren't coming out. And that was a complaint I had with Gears 4. I just often felt like, man, I shot, but nothing came out. That happens a lot with Gears 5 as well. And that's just because it's on the OG Xbox. It's just trash. So yeah, they would be very different videos. So I'm going to try and focus more on when I was playing on the X, because I know that's what most people are probably going to do. They're going to play on the X and then also on PC. So you're going to have much more of a fluid experience and your shots are probably going to come out. So yeah, let's talk about my experience in the actual gameplay. We already, complained about the servers and all that. You know what went down. If you're on Twitter, I'm sure you saw everybody's wait times and screenshots of the wait times, and you already know. So once we're actually in a match and I'm on the X, I'm with my friends and we're playing, it feels pretty good. The number one thing, of course, I wanted to see and feel going into Gears 5 was, of course, the gnasher. And feeling the differences, yeah, they are there. It's kind of hard to put my finger on what's really going on and the technical things going on, but it does feel different. Of course, you can see those spread now compared to, Gears 4. You can see kind of where your shots are going. It can feel more accurate because of that. There are times where you get killed or you kill somebody and you feel like, I don't know if I deserve that or not. It takes getting used to really figure out where your shots are landing. Also with the momentum and the pace of the game, it feels much different than Gears 4. Because again, we did play Gears 4 recently, And so going from that to Gears 5, it was very easy to see and feel the differences. And the gnasher, man, 2 shots and you're down. I want to say 2 to 3 shots. If they're spot on with their accuracy, you're done in 2. If they're missing a little bit, you can be down in 3. It's just quick. And it feels much quicker than, say, Gears 4, where it would take sometimes 4, 5, 6 shots just to get someone down. And because of that, I think it plays a huge factor in just how the game flows. The flow of the game encourages lancers and assault rifles. Also pickups. I'm more eager to pick up weapons now compared to Gears 4. I can run through Gears 4 only with my gnasher. Gears 3 was a little different, and I think if we had to compare, I feel like Gears 5 is more comparable to Gears 3 because it did become a Lancer Fest at times. You were able to cross people down, and there was stopping power and all of that. You basically couldn't do anything if you were crossed down. Gears 5, you can do things, but you're down so quick, you don't even get the chance at times. The Lancer is very accurate. I actually like using the Lancer, and I'm more, I guess, inclined to do so because of the gnasher and why and how it just brings me down so quickly. So let's say there's like 3 or 4 dudes just there in the ring, and I'm there by myself. In Gears 4 and even Gears 3, and maybe Gears 2. Yes, I would go in there with my gnasher, no problem. I would give it a shot. But in Gears 5, I feel like I'm kind of pushed more to pull out my Lancer because there's no way, unless they're terrible, and there's going to be those times where you do clutch and you do kill everyone. And I did have a few of those moments where I was getting 3 pieces and I was taking down guys. But for the most part, if I see a solid team and there's like 4 of them, I am not going to go in there with my gnasher, and I feel like there's something different about Gears 5 that's making me feel that way. It could be the maps. It could be just the fact that it's new. This could change in a week or 2 after playing the multiplayer. Once it's out, I might be freaking, so brave and just go in there and I'll feel more comfortable. But as it stands, just on the tech test, I'm not doing that. I'm either waiting for teammates, or I'm pulling out a Lancer, or I'm picking up a weapon or something like that. It's just a different flow, and it's just different. Some things I think I mentioned, it's kind of hard to put my finger on things and what's really going on, but there's something definitely going on. And I've seen a lot of people complaining that it's not gnasher heavy, and that's what Gears is, and that's what we're used to. And I do agree, but at the same time, and I can't believe I'm saying this, it's kind of refreshing that I want to pull out a Lancer because we've been playing with gnashers forever. We've been making this a gnasher fest forever. As frustrating as it can be because I'm so comfortable with the gnasher and I want to use it, it's also kind of refreshing. So it's a weird experience. I didn't really expect that. I thought, we would just be on our gnashers and we would just be feeling it, the differences through that. But I'm feeling differences in these other weapons. I'm actually wanting to equip these other weapons. So that's interesting, I think. And I'm noticing a lot of people who didn't really like Gears because of it being a gnasher fest, they're enjoying Gears 5. And it makes sense because, again, it's the flow of the game and that want to use those other weapons. And so because other people are using those weapons, I think the newbies and the people who didn't like Gears before, they're seeing this as a different experience and they're feeling a different experience. So it's kind of some interesting stuff going on. How I ultimately will feel about it once the game is out, and let's say it just becomes all Lancers and they're overpowered, then I might feel different. I might feel like, okay, this isn't refreshing no more. This is annoying. I might feel that way then. But right now it's just kind of like I'm just observing and I'm seeing the differences and I'm thinking, okay, this is interesting. This is different. I'm curious how this is going to play out, especially once they start to get complaints about certain weapons. And I'm already seeing that on Twitter, but if I had to say, if anything's overpowered, or maybe if there needs to be some tuning. I would say maybe the Lancer needs to be tuned down a little bit. Just it's a little OP, but there's other weapons that can combat the Lancer as well. I mean, you can pull out your Lancer for one. You got the Enforcer in there. You got the other power weapons like the Torque Bow and all of that. And let me say, the Torque Bow feels pretty damn nice. I used it a few times, got kills with it every time. And compared to Gears 4, where I was trash with Torque. So yeah, something, I don't know, maybe it's because, again, I want to use other weapons. Maybe it's just like I'm more open to it and I'm just more comfortable. I don't know, but the Torque felt really good. Bolt Hawk felt okay. I'm trying to think what other weapons. The Marxa, I think it's called. I think that's fine. I didn't feel like I was overpowered with it or anything. But let me go back to the gnasher for a little bit. There's a couple of things I noticed in Gears 5 so far. The wraparound gnasher shot. When you're in cover and you wrap around to shoot somebody, that's almost invincible. And it's cool when you're doing it, but it sucks when you're on the other end of it. Because when I'm looking down at somebody in cover, I want to pop their head off. I want them to come out of cover and then I get that shot off. And it seems like 9 out of 10 times when I would try that, I would lose. And it just seems like the wraparound, that cover situation, it feels like that person is going to win that battle most of the time. Before in Gears 4, because that's my recent memory, I can't remember how it was in Gears 3, but in Gears 4, when someone was in cover waiting to wrap around, I felt like I could look over them and shoot down and get a headshot. But in Gears 5, I don't know if I ever got one of those. It just seems different. It just seems like that doesn't work much anymore. And then when it comes to anything else about the gnasher, I'm trying to think. It's just different. I can't really put my finger on it when it comes to other things, but it definitely feels different. And it's a different kind of flow to the matches. Now, as far as anything goes with technical issues, like actual technical issues, I want to talk about this before I forget. The audio has issues, serious issues. There's times where I just hear everything going on the map. I hear footsteps from across the way. I hear the enemy team talking to each other, even though they're not even near me. I hear everything. And I'm going to show you a clip right now where I was playing King of the Hill. My whole team quit. So it was just me. And I didn't want to quit because I thought, they're going to give me a penalty. So I stayed in there. I hid in the spawn area and I just stood there. And check out this audio and everything I'm hearing, even though the enemy team's not even near me. Check this out. So as you can hear, I was hearing everything. Footsteps, breathing, the call outs, all of it, even though they weren't even near me. So you got that going on. And then on the opposite side of things, when somebody's right behind me, there's times I don't hear a damn thing. Like I don't hear footsteps, I don't hear anything. And that's been getting me killed a lot. So I feel like most of the time I'm getting killed, it's audio issues. It's either me being paranoid and turning around because I hear footsteps and then getting killed from a different direction, or I'm not hearing anything and I get flanked and die like that. So yeah, they really, really need to fix the audio. That's an actual technical issue going on. And of course, the server issues, they're working on them and hopefully it gets way better. The good thing about this, even though it can be annoying, is that they're ironing out these problems so that way at launch it could be smoother than it would be without these tests. So that's what they're for. But of course it can be annoying, especially if you really cleared your afternoon to play or something and you can't get into matches, you're getting booted from matches. It can be annoying, but hopefully everything just gets better, and at launch there's little to no problems. That's what I'm hoping for. And before we go, we got to mention that red damage screen. We have to talk about it. I'm sure I'm in the majority and when I'm saying I don't like this red screen. It's just distracting. It actually can hinder my gameplay. There was this time, and I'm going to show you a clip where I'm in a 1v1 with somebody and I lose the 1v1. And I really did feel like that red screen messed me up. I felt like I couldn't really see the enemy very well, and I couldn't plan my movements accordingly. And that to me is a problem. Never mind the fact that it's ugly and it covers the screen and it's just kind of annoying. Like, it legit can hurt your gameplay. You can sometimes not see correctly what's going on around you. And if you're just surviving, you're just getting by, you're having this 1v1, this back and forth, they're missing shots, you're missing shots, and you're just trying to win that battle, it can really mess you up. It can just be distracting and just in the way. So I really do think the damage screen has to go. I don't know if they will get rid of it. Maybe they'll just like tone it down a little bit. They got to do something. I think it really has to go. And that's something I can stand by for forever. I just really don't see the purpose. I think maybe they were trying to go for like this cool new effect, something so different from the previous games, but it just falls flat. It doesn't do anything cool. There's nothing cool about it. It has to go, in my opinion. I really hope they get rid of it, if I'm honest. I'm trying to think what else I can cover as far as anything else in the tech test. I just need to adjust because we're back feeling a different kind of flow here. So I just need to adjust my gameplay, and that will happen over time. It's just it's a different experience right now. And so let me know what you guys think about the tech test. Obviously, we all had issues connecting. I'd be really shocked, and I probably wouldn't believe you if you said you had no issues. So don't even try and lie. But no, seriously though, when it comes to the gameplay, I'm curious, what do you guys think about the flow of the gameplay and just how your style of gameplay has maybe been altered, or maybe you're stubborn and you're trying to go in there with your gnasher? How is it going for you? I'm just curious how you're adjusting or not adjusting to Gears 5 and what you think are the differences, and maybe you can put your finger on them better than I can and kind of educate me on what you're seeing as differences in the gameplay. I'm curious what you got to say. Thanks you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.